We are here on the anniversary this month of this horrific tragedy that New Jersey experienced with Hurricane Sandy. And one of the things that we learned as we went through this is that New Jersey wasn't alone in this tragedy, not just from the impacts of Sandy, but from storms like it that have impacted across the country. What we saw with Sandy was the immediate outpouring of celebrities coming to the forefront and helping us raise money to deal with the impacts of Sandy. And money is always critically important. But how that money is utilized and how it can go into the field to help with a recovery matters almost equally as much, if not more. The other side of the impact of a storm like Sandy is that not everybody has the resources to dollars through a tragedy like that, but the one thing that they can bring to the table are their skills, the asset of who they are, and the difference that they can make. In major natural disasters across the country, safety inspections to damaged properties are a critical part of protecting the community and saving lives. That's where architects and engineers can jump immediately to help and become a significant part of that solution. These safety inspections must be done properly and professionally before permitting families to return to their homes or their businesses. However, large-scale natural disasters can easily overwhelm the local disaster response resources on the ground. New Jersey would not stand alone in this type of legislation, and 26 other states across the country have enacted Good Samaritan laws in some form to promote public safety and strengthen disaster response capacity. In times of disaster, architects and engineers, they can answer the call by volunteering their services pro bono to assist communities by providing these safety inspections. The Good Samaritan laws protect these volunteers from potentially massive legal liability. They're volunteering their time, they're not being paid. Their liability coverage stands there for certain types of negligence, wanton gross negligence, but not to subject them to frivolous lawsuits. I've proposed the Good Samaritan law for New Jersey that will make sure we are better prepared for future disasters. The goal of this bill is to promote better safety in our communities and to strengthen our disaster response capabilities. This bill would apply only to licensed architects and engineers who provide services on an unpaid volunteer basis at the request of the federal, state, or local public officials at the scene of the declared disaster areas and within 90 days of the disaster itself. There are two key examples as to why I believe New Jersey needs this legislation. New York City, according to news reports, nearly 400 architects stood ready in New York City to volunteer to help the overwhelmed local officials assess storm damages after Sandy hit. Yet the potential for massive lawsuits deterred those vast majorities from stepping up and volunteering. If they had had that Good Samaritan law in place that we're proposing today, that problem would have been solved. By contrast, in Alabama, who has a Good Samaritan law, in 2011, devastating hurricanes killed 64 people, caused $2.2 billion in damage in Alabama, and because of the state's law, over 200 professionals volunteered nearly 1,300 hours in Tuscaloosa. These professionals provided safety inspections for over 7,000 buildings, a scale which would have overwhelmed the municipality's limited staff. So for that reason, we are here today hoping to spark some interest in this, alleviate some of the concerns that may exist, and move forward with the very brave men and women who volunteer their services and want to help this state in times of need.